Next, from Springfield, we attend a press conference with home builders explaining why they're opposed to a bill that would tax home repairs. This runs about 25 minutes.
We are the Home Builders Association of Illinois. We are a trade association of 1,800 people throughout the state of Illinois that make up home builders, remodelers, developers, repair persons, and associated businesses that create and enhance home ownership in the state of Illinois. I am Bill Ward. I'm Executive Vice President for the Home Builders Association of Illinois. I'm joined today by my President, Alan Drews, Dean Graven, Immediate Past President, Jason Poliaka, Secretary of HBAI, Debbie Miller, First Vice President of HBAI, Dave Padgett, President of Greater Southwest Home Builders Association, and Leanne Bergner, who is Executive Officer for the Greater Springfield Association of Home Builders. We are here today to expose to the media and to the public the vague language that is in Senate Bill 9 that creates a tax on home repair. If you'll look over here to this board, Senate Bill 9, Amendment number 2, states that the purchase of service means the acquisition of the repair service, alteration, fitting, cleaning, painting, coating, towing, inspection, or maintenance of tangible personal property or tangible personal property that has been affixed to real estate for a valuable consideration. This language is contained in Senate Bill 9 that was introduced in January and has been sitting on the Senate floor on third reading ever since, and it really hasn't been reported on all that much. And the reason why is because nowhere in here does it say home repair. So we're here today to tell you and get out to the public that Illinois State Senate has a bill that's part of the grand bargain that creates home repair taxation in the state of Illinois. Amendment number 2, which is already on the bill, which did not have a hearing in committee, creates a 5% excise tax. What I've been told is that they really want Amendment number 3, which would create a service tax, and that rate would be 6.25%. This is part, like I said, this is part of the grand bargain. It's part of a 500-page omnibus bill for increasing taxes in various ways for the state of Illinois. If passed into law, homeowners will now pay 6.25% on all home repair work. The National Association of Home Builders reports that this will have a decrease in home repair work in the state of Illinois of $47.2 million and will lay off 521 workers that are currently in the home repair business. This tax was taken from the state of Wisconsin, and the grid that's used by their Department of Revenue is difficult to interpret and will be difficult to assess and collect accurately. Home repairmen and women will be set up for a tax audit. There's no doubt about it. Senior citizens and other homeowners on limited income will be forced to forego needed repair work on their homes. At least one city in the state of Illinois has already recognized this and has passed a resolution opposing the home repair tax in Senate Bill 9. Homes hit by storms or fire damage are going to be hardest hit by this tax. On a $20,000 damage to a home, the tax will amount to $1,250 in repair work, a substantial increase that will either be paid by the homeowner or by their insurance. If it's paid by the insurance, then it will be likely that your home insurance will increase. Home repair tax and the other 7 service areas have been chosen out of 168 service areas to start collecting taxes on services provided in Illinois. This creates a narrow-based form of taxation that generates fewer dollars than a broad-based form of taxation, but creates a heavy burden on those particular sectors. Those sectors, besides home repair, include warehouse storage, landscaping, laundry and dry cleaning, cable television, private alarm services, pest control, and personal care services like cosmetics, tattooing, and massage. The home repair tax will send home repair work underground. It will, with offers from repair people to forego the tax with cash payments. This will be bad for the homeowner and will increase home repair fraud in the state of Illinois. It also should be noted that Illinois is 50th in the United States in new home construction based on a ratio of permits to population. We've been at that lowest rung on the ladder for 5 years. Builders attempting to diversify, to stay alive, moved into the repair business to keep their businesses afloat. Now they feel the state is on the attack with new taxes and regulations that will take their businesses down once again. Homeowners in Illinois already pay their fair share with what is some of the highest property taxes in the country. The Illinois General Assembly should be doing all they can to create and improve home ownership, not make it more expensive to live in Illinois. Legislators will tell you that Senate Bill 9 is dead, and that may be true, along with the rest of the grand bargain. But we believe that in the days and weeks ahead, that there will surely be attempts to raise taxes, cut costs, and pass a budget balance here in Springfield. The Home Builders Association of Illinois respectfully requests that the Senate and House take a look at broader-based forms of taxation shared by all that makes that plan happen. I have with me now Dean Graven, immediate past president of the Home Builders Association, and he wants to speak about the amendment. Dean?
Thanks, Bill.
Like a graven image, G-R-A-V-E-N?
Exactly. Very good. First name's in the dictionary, last name's in the dictionary. When I first was informed by Bill of this taxation and tried to read through the multiple hundreds of pages, it was apparent to me that this was going to be something that the consumer would not have any clue. So I have a good relationship with the city council and the mayor of Springfield. I immediately went to them and asked for a resolution about 5 weeks ago for them to support our opposition to this. It was very interesting that they did it very quickly, but they brought up two areas that I'm very concerned about, and they picked up very quickly. One was the blighted areas. Those are the homes that have been built back in the 50s, 60s, and before, and those are being torn down in this city at a record pace of hundreds a year. And that blighted area is on a very limited income. So if you want to add something to a distressed area, you don't want to add a tax and slow it down even further. So that was a very detailed discussion at City Hall. The next was on fixed incomes. A lot of our senior citizens can't afford to downsize because of the property tax. I talked to hundreds of people over the last few years of downsizing, and they realize if they're moving from a house they've lived in for 30 or 40 years and they want to downsize to a new home, their property tax will increase by thousands. So the fixed income need to stay where they're at and not be taxed any further. As we're 50th place in new home construction, we're near the top, if not first or second, in the highest property taxes in the nation. So that's another tax on top of the American dream to own a home. So we don't need any more taxes by owning a home. Bill mentioned the other was under the radar, where we would have people trying to do repairs for cash and not have to report it. So it takes less time out of their day, and the consumer would not have to pay the tax. Well, Attorney General Madigan has a bill, or has a resolution and a state code that says every time I touch a house and spend $1,000 in terms of home repair or remodeling, this consumer has a right to know all the details, how the contract's written. I can only see this document being thrown off the table, and then eventually everything would be done under the table, so I don't have to collect the tax, do the audits, do the revenue, and then I can do it under the table. So we're not helping promote business, we're hurting business. So with the resolution being passed at City of Springfield, I'm hoping the Senate and the legislators will listen to us and oppose this bill. Thank you.
I have now Alan Drews, President of the Home Builders Association of Illinois.
Thank you, Bill. One of the points that Bill has made is the vagueness of this bill. What is vague to us is what will it really encompass. One of the things that in that encompassing is, are we repairing or are we replacing? And this is a repair tax as opposed to replacement. The vagueness would also go further into, do we have to pass this bill before we get to know it? We've heard this before. And if it goes from, it gets passed and it goes into rules, what will change? Will it go from just a repair to replacement? So you do extensive remodeling and you're going to see a 6.25% tax. That'll be a huge burden on everybody in Illinois, as we're seeing more people leaving Illinois right now than they are coming in. So we need to balance that and get rid of this altogether. And to add to what Dean was saying, going underground and people are going to be paying cash for the repairs, what does that do to repairs? The quality of those repairs will probably go down too. So the people are going to be victimized potentially by some of these construction people who worked out of their trunk as opposed to being a truly legit business. So we would like to see this resolved. Thank you.
Lastly, I have Dave Padgett, President of Greater Southwest Illinois Home Builders.
Thank you, Bill. I agree with both of what these guys have said. The vagueness of this bill, I may have a remodeling project where I have to have two separate contracts with a homeowner because some of it's repairs, some of it's replaced, and we don't know which way it gets taxed. Also with senior citizens and people on fixed incomes, allowing their homes to go into disrepair because they just simply can't pay the additional tax that would cost to repair their home. But our company and our organization lives in kind of a unique situation. I live 10 to 15 miles from downtown St. Louis. We constantly hear of businesses leaving Illinois because of regulations and everything else. Well, our business would not leave Illinois. We would just not do work on the Illinois side of the river. If it is a home service, our home service division would just go serve the St. Louis metropolitan area and not the Metro East. So this tax burden that we'd have to pass on to our customers would also increase our taxes or our accounting services to try and make sure that we're paying this correctly. It's just a snowball effect for us. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I just want to make the point that the way this is administered in the state of Wisconsin is there is a grid that home repair persons have to look at when they tax. And it has a long list of different things that can be repaired. And then to the side it says whether it is a remodel or if it is a repair. And if it is a repair, then it's taxed. And if it's remodeled, then you don't have to do the tax. Well, on any given remodeling job, you're going to have some remodeling and some repair. And the members of the Home Builders Association are very afraid that they're going to get that assessment wrong, be audited, and pay penalties to the Department of Revenue.
If I have a roof that I want to replace on a house, is the new roof considered installation or repair, or do you know?
Well, one of the worst promises in Springfield is we'll take care of you in Rules Committee. And the answer to that is we really don't know yet. In the state of Wisconsin, if you install a roof, I think you don't get taxed. But if you have a hole in your roof and you need repair work on that, you would certainly be taxed for that.
You have a tax credit, you say is a better solution, and raise more revenue. I don't understand how a tax credit raises revenue.
Well, I think if you ask yourself the question, is is it better to have neighborhoods and communities take care of their homes and their communities? Then if that's a good thing for our society, then maybe you want to incentivize that being done. The opposite of that is like earlier in session, they considered soda pop tax, a tax on sugary drinks. That was recommended as a way to create broad-based taxation, and yet, but lower the amount of consumption of sugary drinks. Same thing would happen with home repair work. If you tax it, then the amount of home repair will go down.
How does a tax credit generate revenue?
Through many means. Sales tax at when you're buying lumber, when you're buying materials, and all the things that go into it currently are going to create new revenue for the state of Illinois. The more you pick up business in the state of Illinois, the more revenue that's going to be created.
Can you address the questions about expertise? Say consumer sees what they could be taxed if they go to a repair company, and they say, you know what, I could save a couple $1,000s if I just do it myself. What are the pitfalls there?
The pitfalls are probably that it won't get done, and that the homes will probably go into disrepair. If they do it themselves, then maybe it'll be built to code, maybe it won't. But that will be something that the individual homeowner will have to decide for themselves what to do.
One of the things the legislature is considering, and this is somewhat of a specific application of it, should we have just an across-the-board tax on all economic activity? If I'm a widget maker, why should I pay a tax and a lawyer doesn't on their economic services? So rather than specifically saying this or that, it shouldn't matter to me whether it's a repair or a replace. If it's economic activity, you could just tax it, and therefore probably lower the tax rate, the argument is, because you're not just taxing certain economic activity, you have a broader base but a lower rate.
Right. I think
you all have any kind of a reaction to that approach?
Yeah, I think that exposes the unfairness of this particular tax. Like I said before, it was stated by the Taxpayers Federation of Illinois that there are a possible 168 sectors that could be taxed under the service tax. Yet this amendment only taxes 8 of them. So there is a tremendous burden put on these 8 sectors, while the other 160 are not taxed, and it's probably done so to allow for a low amount of political friction in order to pass the bill.
Well, I'm hearing a couple of messages here. One is you need to have a broader base. It needs to be a lot closer to 168 than 8. But I'm also hearing, are you kidding? Tax our group? No way. Where is it, or is it a little of each?
It might be a little of each, but I think that the thing you got to look at is that if you create some sort of broad-based taxation that's carried by everyone and that is low, it's going to be an easier burden than by putting one particular tax on the homeowner to have to pay and pay a lot when it is being assessed.
You mentioned that we're 50th of all the states when it comes to new home construction. What do you think is the cause of that?
Low consumer confidence. It's the #1 thing that drives the purchase of a new home is the confidence that you have and that you have a job and that your income will increase over time. And consumer confidence is very low in the state of Illinois.
You're watching the Illinois Channel, an independent nonprofit corporation formed to provide gavel-to-gavel coverage of Illinois state government and other public affairs events taking place across Illinois.